Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's visual meeting. We are here to discuss a tragic incident, which is the Putra Height gas pipeline fire on 1st April 2025, one of Malaysia's worst infrastructure disaster in recent years. The explosion injured over 300 people, damaged more than 80 homes, and displaced hundreds. But today isn't just about headlines. We are here to examine a critical issue, the role of record or the lack of them before, during, and after the disaster. I am Farah, and my fellow team members, which is Dina, Khalida, Alina, and Aunil, a trained CISPA volunteer with emergency response experience. Each of us will be explore a key aspect. The first one, the condition of the pipeline before the blast. The second one, the emergency response on the ground. The third one, the investigation challenges. And the last one, how recovery and aid were handled. Let's begin at the start. What really happened before the explosion? Dina, over to you.
So thank you, Ara. So to understand how serious this was, let's go back to what happened. On April 1st, 2025, a gas pipeline near valves 210 and 211 in Putra Height exploded. Flames reached 30 meters, injuring over 300 people and damaging 81 homes. More than 500 residents had to evacuate. Right after, people asked, could this have been prevented? That's where record management come in. So, important records like inspection log, maintenance report, excavation permits, and land risk assessment should have been in place. But many were missing or outdated. And there was no record checking the ground near the valves. Because of that, early warning sign may have been misleading to this disaster. Now I will pass it to Khalida to explain the emergency response and how records play a role. Thank you.
Thank you, Dina, for your explanation. Okay, right after the explosion, the focus was on saving lives. Fire and rescue teams acted fast, but so did our records. We needed real-time access to evacuation lists, firefighter logs, medical response records, and stakeholder contacts. And without all of this info, the response would have been slower and more dangerous. Imagine evacuating without knowing who lives there or treating patients with no records. That could have cost lives. This proves that good emergency response isn't just fast, but it is informed. That is why agencies are going digital to access the right info right when it is needed. Now I will pass over to Alina for the investigation phase.
Okay, so thank you, Ara, first of all, for inviting me, and thanks to Dina and Khalida for the great explanation. So now I'll talk about what happened after the fire, the investigation phase. The investigation was led by DOSH with help from the police, Petronas, and other agencies. And their main focus, records to find out what went wrong and if it could be avoided. They look for digging permits, contractor work logs, pipeline inspections, soil reports, and safety records. But here's the problem. Many records were missing or outdated, and for example, no clear info on which contractor worked on near valves 210 and 211. Old soil reports mentioned ground movement, but no action was taken. And because of it was hard to find out who was responsible. Investigator had to guess instead of using solid proof, and this caused delays and confusion. And in the end, they blame underground movement, but without proper records. No one knows if this could have been prevented. So here's the point: good record keeping matters. It should be centralized, backup, updated, and secure. And because without records, the truth can disappear and no one takes the blame. Now I'll pass it to our Neil, who will talk about the recovery pace and how records help, especially from her view as a CISPA member. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. During a recovery after a disaster, records are crucial, not just rebuilding homes, but for rebuilding lives. After the Putra High fires, the government gave 7.3 million in aid, but before distributing aid, they need key records, which is proof of residence, property documents, household size, insurance policies, and also damage reports. Without these records, aid could go to the wrong people or leave real victims behind. Private companies like Karsam, Aeon, and Panasonic also helped, and they too needed accurate data. The problem: many records were paper-based, causing delays. If we had used digital systems like EDMS or cloud-based portals, it would have been faster, more transparent, and also easier to manage. From my CISPA experience, I've learned every second counts. That's why future efforts should use cloud system, digital profiles, and also real-time dashboard. In short, records save times, ensure fairness, and also help victims to get what they need when they need it most. With that, I hand it back to Ara to close the session.
Wow, listening to all of you has been truly eye-opening. We can all agree the Putra High pipeline explosion wasn't just a tragedy, but it was a wake-up call. What happened on 1st April 2025 didn't just impact life, but it showed us how important good record keeping really is. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we have learned. The first one, before the explosion, important records like inspection logs and digging approval were missing or outdated. That gap may have cost life. During the crisis, emergency teams need things like evacuation lists and medical records. If those were ready, the situation could have been much worse. And after the incident, investigators could find key documents. Over 7 million ringgit Malaysia in aid had to be given based on who had the right papers. It's shocking to see how badly things can go when records are not managed properly. But here's the good news: we can fix this. This case shows that with the right system, digital, centralized, and secure, we can prevent disasters, respond quietly, investigate fairly, and help people recover with dignity. I'm truly proud of today's discussion. You have all helped show that records are just admin work, they can save life. Today's discussion made it clear that records protect people, information brings accountability, and the last one, good management can make the worst day a little better. Thank you again and take care everyone.